Let's get to. Oh, this is just poor Simon Borg. I almost got to the point, Brett, where I almost felt sorry for him. But in this whole Simon Borg hates women's soccer fans thing. But let's read what he actually said, and then maybe we'll comment on it. He said, "It's fine if you're a female and you want to be a super fan. Go for it, that's your choice. But there is something to be said for how appealing that might be to the other sex. Having a woman that's such a fan, like painting your face, tuning into every podcast, I don't know how many males would be into that." He goes on to say, "It's great that in Kansas City there are a lot of women in the stands. It's great. But for the guy who wants maybe a serious relationship, if you are following just casually," and I think he means following soccer casually there, and that's what's unclear about this, Brett. But he goes on and says, "But if you're such a diehard, I don't know. It comes a point that it is a bit of a turnoff." And then he says, "I don't want to say," but then he said it. So you can't say, "I don't want to say," and then say it. I understand that there are a lot of people out there that don't like Simon Borg for a whole host of different reasons. He's never come on our show. We have asked him, to be fair, and he's actually never even responded, which is odd since a lot of his mates at MLS have been on our show, like Jonah, like Jason Sagini. So I don't want to club him over the head. That's already been done. I guess the question is, should MLS have banned him for saying this? Or is the fact that, if I'm reading this right, where he is clarifying, if you're following just casually, and I think he means the sport of soccer or MLS, if you're a casual MLS supporter, maybe a diehard fan might be a bit of a turnoff. And if that's what he really meant, then why didn't he clarify? And why didn't MLS clarify? And rather than just suspending him, which is what they did. Any idea?
Here's my question about that. I have no idea. But, it's a podcast. Is Extra Time done live?
Yeah, I believe it is done live, but you can watch it. I don't know if that's a really good question.
I was going to say, why didn't they just edit that out? If they take extensive training about sexism and everything like that, why didn't they edit that out?
We edit out all kinds of stupid things, I say.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you also left out Nick of Extra Timers that we've had on the show.
Well, you're right. It was Nick Furchow who's been on the show. Not Jason has not been on the show. I'm sorry.
I was questioning that, but I was like, oh crap!
You're right.
Did we have Jason on there?
It's
I don't
been
recall.
Nick.
I knew we had Nick on there.
You know why? Because they look so much alike. They all have that sort of 3-day beard thing going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Nick, not Jason. So we have had Nick on, and then Jonah's been on multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
but
he was a good friend of the show. But here, I've defended Simon on so many articles, so many comments.
You actually like some of his articles.
Oh, the guy cracks me up. I mean, he makes some off the wall comments, but then again, that's the same reason why I like Waldo and I like Alexi Lawless. Is they make some off the wall comments, but it's some of the stuff is the stuff that you want to say, but you just don't say.
Right.
I've defended Simon quite a bit, but this is one topic that I am not going to defend him on. It was the most asinine comment ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I love it.
Me too.
I would love it if you're dating somebody that's a soccer fanatic, and my fiance is not a soccer fanatic, but then again, she also respects the sport, and she also goes to many games with me, so I love her for that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. I mean, it's like I think girls who snowboard, I think that's hot. I really do. I don't know what it is, but the same thing with girls who know soccer.
That's a whole different thing, Brett.
Oh, I'm just saying. It's
your personal preferences for women that snowboard and skateboard.
I'm saying it's very much a niche thing that you like. I mean, if I know a lot of people who find girls who love soccer, who follow soccer, who play soccer. I know a lot of people who find that unbelievably attractive. A girl might not be attractive, but the fact that they like soccer makes her a little bit more attractive.
That's a big plus for me.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. And this is one comment I can't agree with Simon on.
No, I can't either. But I just don't think he should have been suspended for it. And I think they could have done a better job with the quote that we have here in explaining what he meant. And I think what he meant was, if you're a casual fan and you're a male, then going out with some diehard soccer fan who's a woman might be a turnoff. Okay, I can understand that. Well, I think what he may be saying there, if I were running MLS's department that dealt with press and media and responding to these things, I would say, well, going to clarify that Simon Borg's comments were about a casual fan connecting with a diehard fan, not that all diehard women fans are a turnoff. I happen to be a diehard soccer fan. You are too, Brett. Uh-huh. So for us, a diehard woman soccer fan, that's like the opposite of turnoff. That is like total awesomeness. That means that when I travel Europe and I want to go watch a bunch of games, I want to go to 3 Fulham games, 2 Liverpool games, 1 Man U. If I want to spread myself around, guess who's going to also want to do it too, just because it's freaking exciting? That's right. My partner, who's also a diehard fan. And so I think that, my wife, like your wife to soon be, is not a gigantic soccer fan, but she goes to games with me. She'll watch games with me. She'll put up with it. And that's fine. And I love her. And that's fine. And I'm not saying I would take a diehard soccer fan over my wife. And you wouldn't either. I'm happy where I'm at. But, yeah, you're right. This was just one of those things that, I'm sure that Borg wish he had not said, number one. But 2, I think it was just really, on MLS's part, a failure to support a guy they've employed, for how many years now. They could have done a better job for him. They really failed Simon. And Simon failed himself as well. Let's be honest here by saying these things in the first place. But I thought that's what he was saying. And I may be wrong, but if I were working for MLS, I think I could have cleared this up for them.
No.
Does that make me an arrogant prick?
The suspension was for 7 days?
7 days for something they could have totally cleared up by mentioning the fact that he said, if you are following just casually, that statement alone just says, if you're a casual fan, you don't want to go out with a diehard fan. They could have clearly made that distinction, and they failed. Not that, a lot of people are happy that Simon Borg got suspended, but I'm not commenting on that as much as I'm commenting on MLS's inability to defend their own reporters competently.
Well, I think it's basically just a punishment solely to make to really quiet it down a bit. I like the way I'm looking at it.
It's got quieted down. We're doing a show on it.
Yeah, exactly. And the way
Bill Archer and Dan Loney already toasted him or roasted him. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the thing. MLS has to make it look like hey, this was insensitive to say he's gonna serve his time and he's gonna come back. Like I said, I think it was only like 7-day suspension, which isn't much of anything. More of a slap on the wrist, but
he's on vacation now, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically. I see it as, them trying to cover their tracks.
Like, yes, paid suspension too.
Here's a suspension. We're going to do a lot more training. Make sure this doesn't happen again.
That's just ridiculous.
The person's held responsible. Blah blah blah.
That's the most ridiculous response ever by MLS for anything that I've ever seen. I have to say, it was just over the top. It was unnecessary, and they could have explained it in a different way. They could have made it okay. They didn't choose to make it okay, and instead, basically now Simon Borg's going to be the guy you throw up on your wall and throw darts at.
They should have clarified. I agree with you on that.
They could have done a better job.
They still handed out the suspension, done all the extra training, but they should have clarified. I agree. Instead of just saying, yeah, he screwed up. That was a royal screw up, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, like...
what, he didn't mean it like that, but still, it was insensitive to say.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to the point where you got to be that careful. We're in some...
So that's the thing. Man, this world is just getting more and more sensitive, more and more PC.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been a stupid thing to say, and that might actually be his opinion on the matter.
Yeah.
Obviously, a ton of other soccer fans disagree with him.
Yep.
On a regular basis.
On a regular basis.
But, again, it's.
And that's why, honestly, that's why it was even easier to do to Simon Borg, because people don't like him. I mean, let's be honest. They don't like him. That's it with that. Some people are easy to not like, I guess. You know what, Simon? If you ever want to come on this show and discuss those comments, we'd be happy to have you on. He's not going to come on.
He's not. Well, he might come on at some point.
You think he's going to come on? He has made no effort. I mean, how many people do we ask to come on say they don't even respond to us? Don't even say, "No, that's all right. I don't want to come on."
I can think
almost
of
nobody.
3.
I can think of, Alexi Lawless never responded to us.
Yeah.
Simon Borg, and who was the other one? Am I missing?
Ives.
Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started.
And then we've asked Winaldo to be on, haven't we?
Nope. No. Never asked Winaldo.
Well, I know he's not a big fan of the dog.
He's not a fan of the dog. That's why we didn't ask him. Maybe we did. I don't remember. I don't think we did. I mean, we've had lots of people on the show. And by the way, we're going to have Christopher Sullivan on this month to talk about U.S. soccer. It'll be at the end of the month. And obviously we used to do a lot more interviews. We don't as much now, but we have about one a month. And we're happy to have Christopher on. To kind of end this whole discussion for the week, I don't know if you noticed this, but the Revs waived Monsali today. But in the interview process, the Revs did not mention why they waived Monsali. Do you have any idea why he was waived?
No, I don't follow the Revs as closely.
You know what? It's not even about following the Revs.
I'm just saying. I don't know what the reason is. He might not have been performing. He might not. He might have been getting into trouble off the field. I don't know. I just.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. If you're doing a report on it, wouldn't you have some information about why? Because, I mean, listen, in basic journalism, you try to answer the questions why, what, who, when, where, how. There was none of those things were involved in this article about Monsali being waived. Maybe
I don't know if you've noticed, but MLS tends to be very secretive.
Yeah.
Very hush-hush on certain subjects and certain things.
Right.
So, and the contracts being one of them, they're like, he's being signed for an undisclosed amount.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. And you don't know anything about anything when it comes to, you just know that they got signed or that they got waived or whatever. Sometimes a manager may come out like the whole Latu debacle. A manager might come out and say something.
Yep.
But for the most part, a lot of things are kept hush.
Then don't make it an article. That's what I would say. I would say don't make it an article, just make it an announcement. He's been cut. He's been waived. And that's it. If you don't have any information, don't make it an article, because you just wasted 5 minutes of my life. I'm reading the article trying to find out why would you waive a guy who's played that many games for your team.
You were a hit.
Yeah,
that's why they make it an article. You were a hit.
Yeah, I was a hit. I mean, if he's decided to become an Olympic swimmer, tell me that. I want to know. If it's synchronized swimming, I want to know that too. I want to know why Monsali, who's played that many games for the Revs and performed as he has over the years, has just been waived. All right, that's all I'm complaining about.